We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm Mike Mercado, and this story has really taken the front pages both in college football and in National Football League circles as Jim Harbaugh has been suspended for 3 regular season games for the University of Michigan. And this is a story that has intrigued a lot of Bears fans. Why don't we get into what exactly is going on here? This comes to us from ESPN's Mark Schallbeck and Adam Rittenberg. Why Big Ten suspended Michigan's Jim Harbaugh and what's next. The Big Ten suspended Michigan's Jim Harbaugh from coaching in his football team's final 3 regular season games, starting with Saturday's showdown at number 10 Penn State. Friday's announcement from Big Ten commissioners Tony Petitti came 23 days after NCAA first notified conference and Michigan officials that it had received credible information that the number 3 Wolverines had been involved in a sign stealing scheme in which analysts, Connor Stallions, and others scouted future opponents off campus, which has been prohibited by NCAA rules since 1994. Petitti's decision was both stunning and swift. And will it hold up, has many Michigan fans wondering. Michigan President Santa Ono said in a statement Friday that the university is seeking a court order to overturn Harbaugh's suspension. So I want to get into this really more than anything, and I suggest you guys check out the entire article over at ESPN. But what did Harbaugh know about the scheme? Since the beginning, Harbaugh has denied knowledge of sign stealing scheme and said he never instructed staff members to break NCAA rules. Petitti affirmed to the Michigan program that the league has not yet received any evidence indicating that Harbaugh was aware of the scheme. So you could check out the entire article, and I really wanted to focus on the Harbaugh part of all this because we know that Michigan is going to be in play to make the NCAA playoff, right? To be one of those Final Four teams. But what does this mean for NFL fans, for Bears fans who believe that Matt Eberflus will be fired at the end of this season? Can Jim Harbaugh be part of the solution of this new Bears regime? If you're the Raiders, if the Patriots get rid of Bill Belichick, there are a lot of different options in the NFL right now that would seem intriguing for a Jim Harbaugh. My entire idea of Jim Harbaugh coming back to the NFL is this. I think he's a good coach. I do think he has a limit, a timeline in which he will be an effective coach. He will be somebody who changes the culture, but it will run out. It will run thin, especially when you're dealing with professionals. Am I a little cautious of a guy who hasn't been in the NFL for nearly a decade coming back into what the league looks like now? Yeah. But I do trust in his intelligence. And when it comes to this cheating scandal and stealing steins, I think what's interesting about it is everybody cheats in sports. Professional sports is the dirtiest world when it comes to finding edges to beat your opponent. And I find it funny that they're going to go so hard in the paint on the organization, on the coaching staff, on everything, just how the Big Ten was going to react to this. Because the Big Ten was going to do its best to make sure it protected Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. Because they know the moneymaker that is Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, especially this year. So I think it was a whole lot of nothing happened. He's going to coach the playoffs. And at least that's what it seems like. I didn't see any specifics that he wouldn't if they make the Final Four, if they make the national championship game. But if you're a Bears fan, this does leave the road open for him to come back to Chicago. I don't know. I don't know if he's in play for the Bears to begin with. I don't know if you're Ryan Poles, if you're Kevin Warren, the former head of the Big Ten, if you want to deal with that, if you want that type of personality coming to your organization when you're still trying to put your flag, plant your flag on this hill, and you know how this fan base is, give them any reason to not like you, especially Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. And then you bring in Jim Harbaugh. Who do you think the Chicago fan base specifically is going to lean towards? And I think there's a lot of dynamics at work. So maybe if you're the Raiders, right? If you're Baby Davis and you're looking for your next coach since Gruden left, you knew you weren't going to do anything with Pierce, that you were going to make this move, right? I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting play to see. But Jim Harbaugh suspended from Michigan, a sign stealing scheme has been the accusation, and now the Big Ten has made its move. And if you actually look at some of the footage, Yeah. I mean, they're using fake mustaches and it looks goofy. It looks like something Steve Barton would do. But I'm interested to see if the Big Ten will do anything when it comes to playoff ramifications. And if this really does mean that Jim Harbaugh is making his way to the NFL, he's been flirting with the NFL for years now. We saw what happened just last season with Minnesota. So I'm interested to see if you're asking me where I'm putting my money. No, I do not believe Jim Harbaugh is heading to become the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. But it doesn't mean that he's not heading to the NFL to be a head coach somewhere else. Let us know your thoughts over on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Jim Harbaugh suspended for the rest of the regular season for the Michigan football team. Does this mean he will be heading to the NFL? If this is the only repercussion he receives, will he stay at Michigan? We want to know your thoughts. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Find us on YouTube. Just search us at the Sports Cubicle or Sports from the Couch or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If you missed any one of our interviews or segments, we're on WSBC 1240 AM now at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. simulcasting on WCPT 820 AM every Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Make sure you guys check us out there as well. We got more coming up next here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm Mike Mercado.